Hello guys, what's up? Welcome to the new tutorial from the SketchUpArchStudio. In this case, I'm going to show you how you can create some industrial renders with the Enscape 3.5. So before we start this tutorial, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. As you can see, we have some car in here. I don't have any work with the model of this car. I only want to move it a little bit on the green axis, and I think I can orbit it a little bit to see better view of this car, something like that. So I want to click on the Enscape maximizing screen, and I want to minimize the Camtasia. So I want to fix one of these angles for my render. For example, something like that can be really good. And save frame is on for me, so I want to click on the visual setting and focus on this car, but I don't know how, so I'm going to reduce the field of view to focus on this car like that. So some number about 32 degree is really good, and I want to close this for now. So I will minimize the Enscape in here and deselect this car in here. I think everything is good for me. I can delete some of these trees to see what happened. As you can see, the tree number 3 is move on the red axis to see the better view of it. Something about 20 centimeter or 28 centimeter. Alright, something like that I think is good for this render right now, and I want to use it for now. I can orbit my camera shot to see a little bit leaves for my job, something like that. So I want to turn on the 2-point perspective from here, and I want to work on these materials about this car. So I will start my job with the paint bucket in SketchUp and click on the Enscape material editor. So I can select the sample paint and pick up my favorite color like that, and I think color is something about black, for example. If I reduce the roughness, I can see some metallica color and texture on my car. So I prefer to reduce this number to the 6%, and metallica related to the car's main element. So I want to increase it to the 88%. I can change the main color to the tomato or white or maybe dim gray like that. So I prefer to change it to the gray right now, or I can change it to the purple or other type of colors. I prefer to use tomato color right now. The specular related to the brightness of these edges. So when I increase it, as you can see, we have more brightness environment in here. And if I change it to the 90 and press enter, I can see the better result in there. So next material is the rings and the rims. So I will click on the sample paint, pick up these rims in here, and change the color of it to the black or dark gray, like that. And the roughness is about 0, and metallica is about 98%. You can see the changes immediately because Enscape is the real-time rendering. So some number about 66% is good, and the specular about 78%. So next material is the tire, so I will click on the sample paint, pick the material up. 000 black is the color of these texture and name of it. So I will change the color to the dim gray again, and rims will be changed immediately. But I think something about black can be good. So for this reason, always we have some dirt in this place. So roughness parameter is something higher than 50. I prefer to use 64% for this, but you can see some reflection and it's not realistic. So I can increase it to the 84%, and metallica is about 2, and the specular is about 66%. So right now everything is good. Next material is these glasses in here. So I will click on the sample paint, pick this material up, and play with the roughness and the specular. For this reason, we have some transmittance texture in here, and when I decrease the opacity, I can see the inside of this car and glass. 26 is good right now, and I can change the refractive index to the 1, and tint color is something about white, and the main color is white too. So I can change it to the self-illuminate to see some type of highlighted renders, but it's not realistic right now at the daylight rendering. So generic is good, and roughness is about maybe 6%. So it's acceptable. Next material is the rims of it. So I will click on the sample paint again, pick up this color in here, and change the roughness to the 6%, and the color of it to the tomato maybe, or I can change it to the white, but I think black is the best color for it. Metallica is about 66, and the specular is about 98. So I think everything is done for me right now. I can click on the BMW color and change this simple small details about this car in here, 44%, and it's acceptable, something like that. And click on the sample paint again another time and do this job for many times to reach the best result that we want from this render. So I think everything is good for me. It's good, and everything is done right now, and I don't see any type of special problem in here. But I have some problem with these tires color, so I will click on these metal rings in there and change the color of it to the white to see what happened. The result is not bad, but it can be better. So I think something about maybe black can be good, not perfect. You can play with these materials to reach to the best result of it. So the body color can be get much better. Tomato color maybe not really good with this type of car. So I prefer to use some dark tan color like the maybe dim gray like that. And now it's much better. So when I click on the visual setting and increase the rendering quality to the high mode, I can see the changes much better than the past, and now we have some better result from the draft mode. So roughness is about 0, or if I want some matte color, I can change the roughness to some parameter about 22%, and the result is something like that. So I only play with these texture parameters, and you can see it's an easy way for changing the materials elements. So 72% is good, and everything is good for us right now. I can change the color completely to the black, but it's not really good with this type of render, or white, or silver, or tomato. But I think something about dim gray can be really good for this job. So everything is done about this car and the body of it. I only have some work with these simple details like the mirrors, so I will click on it, change the color of it to the dim gray, and another time I'm going to fix the textures parameters like that, very simple and easy. You can only do this job with playing the best role of these cars body. So sample paint again, this time white, transmittance about 22, refractive is 1, and specular is about maybe 6. So now we have better material assemblation in here, and it's really good for our job. So time for the rendering. I close all of these material settings, and I only want to play with the sunlight to see the better result for my job. So something like that can be good, and change the sun direction, very simple like that. So I want to click on the visual setting in here, play with the focal point to reach the best result. I want to focus on these edges in here, so I will type some number about 10.84, and the depth of field is 8%. So field of view is 32, exposure is good, and at the image bar I can use the auto contrast for my job, or reduce the shadows about -60 and highlights about 10. but I prefer to use auto contrast. So color temperature is good right now, something about this one, and I can increase the bloom option to see some better effects about my render. About 26 and the lens flare about 77 can be really good. Atmosphere good, and I can reduce the sun brightness a little bit, about 68 for example. So the skybox is done for us, and output is the JPG. I want to save it on the Ultra HD quality, and before rendering I want to select this car in here, click on the soften edges, open all the groups, select all the groups, click on the soften coplanar and increase the smooth normals. Now we have some realistic view of this 3D model in here. So I will close the component and maximize the Enscape. Everything is good for me, and time for the rendering. So on the 2-point perspective, I will click on the screenshot button and save it on my desktop. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Thanks for your watching. Please subscribe our YouTube channel, and goodbye.